Hey there people, what's up? Reporting in live from the mean streets of Colfax here in Denver. The temperature is currently plummeting to 5 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Fahrenheit. It could very well hit 0 in this record-breaking weather. And I'm here to document some interesting local bands at the local 303 meetup, Mercury Cafe, and ask them, as always, some interesting questions. Hey, let's get into it.
Asking interesting questions. Asking interesting questions. Asking interesting questions. Asking interesting questions.
We're here with
ViggyTRA.
William Dusan.
Sami Davis.
Nick with Electric Animals.
Electric Animals.
Yeah.
Alright.
That is a good question.
Question 1. How do you arrange your studio layout?
Studio layout. So we're talking like recording here?
Yeah.
Well, we actually go to our friend who used to be our drummer. He's not our drummer anymore, but he has a basement studio. That's where we go to record all our songs, all our stuff.
How's it arranged?
Arranged as in, I mean, we do Pro Tools, so we have the whole setup down there. We have vocal booth down there. We got guitars, amps, basses, all the good stuff. And yeah, we start with drums. We go from there, and we build an idea, and then we keep it rolling.
Oh my goodness, it depends on the day. If I'm recording, usually everything's facing my desk, my recording desk. If I'm rehearsing, everything's kind of facing the center. So it sort of depends. But right now I have recording, like space over here, my keyboard over here, couch over here, drum set over here, and then a place for guitar amps and stuff over here.
Fluctuates quite a bit?
Yes.
I actually don't do my own studio layout. I actually go into a studio someone else has here in the Denver area.
Oh, how is it arranged?
Pretty much standard issue, you know. You have the keyboard laid out. We do a lot of stuff digitally, so between that and then just connecting the few live instruments that we use there, be it guitars, be it horns, any of that stuff, just kind of plan off to the side.
My studio layout is my Mac, headphones, my Rolly setup, which is like a Rolly keyboard and a Rolly light pad, and then Ableton.
So it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I like to keep it simple until I'm going to the studio. It's more of like a creative workspace rather than like a finalizing stage, because I can take all of that once it's done to the studio. That's where we master everything.
Question 2. Which older genres do you take influence from?
Rock and roll, probably. That's probably the biggest one, to be honest.
Any particular subgenre?
Probably hard rock a little bit here and there, and then electronic, but that's a lot newer.
Okay.
So.
Oh, definitely disco. My favorite band is Sister Sledge, and I'm like a huge fan of Nile Rodgers.
You like disco?
Yeah.
Alright. Classy.
Our band as a group, we do all over the place. We're very diverse in that. Me personally, I take a lot from 80s pop, like INXS is one of my favorite bands of all time. Also 90s rock, 90s alt rock, Third Eye Blind, Eve 6, those more popular kind of grungy guys.
I actually pull directly from classic R&B. That's what I grew up with. So a lot of soul music, a little bit of jazz influences, a little bit of like the big band era comes into play with my music too. So that's all inspiring me.
Where are some of your favorite classic R&B?
I grew up listening to like TLC, Karen White, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Luther Vandross, a lot of people like that.
Say it again?
Question 3. Do you believe it's important for a music venue to supply atmosphere? If so, what kind?
Atmosphere is great, and speaking of, I think this is the first time I've actually been here, so it's awesome. I love the warm environment, very welcoming. Yeah, and I think all venues, I mean, everyone kind of gives their own little thing, gives their own vibe. I like all different kinds.
Absolutely. I work in live music, so I think that's super important, and I think it's the most important to make people feel safe. That can look a lot.
You prefer safety to a music venue?
Yeah, it can look different in a lot of different ways, but I think like whatever type of genre or ambiance you're trying to bring, it's important to make that crowd inclusive and safe.
Yeah, definitely. It lays the vibe. It sets the tone of the whole night, the way that you start out. It's what's going to introduce you to the theme of what even the artist is going to get into. So it can change every night with whatever artist is being presented, but at the same time, I think that it does play a part in it.
Oh my goodness. I definitely definitely think the music venue should supply atmosphere, but it also depends on the music venue, what kind of atmosphere. Yeah, I mean, I think Mercury Cafe does a really good job with their atmosphere because it's pretty in here.
There's a guy on this soundboard. There's just a guy on this soundboard. Question 4, how does the Denver area affect your music?
It's part of my life, you know. Things that have happened here are directly written in all the things that I have been preparing to put out. So, yeah.
You try and write your experiences into your songs.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I've lived here for most of my life, and I've played with bands all around Denver, so I think just every band that I've played with and the genres that they have, like rock and hip hop and a bunch of different things, have kind of influenced who I am today.
In lots of ways, I think. So I'm from Denver, so I think my writing kind of reflects that a lot. It really reflects this like juxtaposition of always wanting to be in the city, but also always wanting to be in nature and how to balance that kind of lifestyle.
We've been in the Denver area our whole lives, so I mean, we've been playing music since we were like 16 in our little garage band. So I think our music has always been all about Denver, singing in the music scene and supporting it and being a part of it. It's been great.
Question 5, what's your most interesting fan experience?
Interesting fan experience.
Yeah.
That's tough. We have awesome fans. All different bands I've played in, we've had great fans. I think one group, they would always make a poster for every show, like a different kind of poster that was really cool. But yeah, I'd probably say that's the most interesting. We haven't had too many crazy fans yet, so we'll see if that changes.
On the horizon.
That's a good question. I'm trying to think. I had a stalker once. I used to do dueling pianos, and there was a guy that left a rose and a note on my car one night, and that was a little awkward, I have to say. But other than that, I think pretty normal.
TBD. I'm still a newcomer, so that hasn't happened just yet, but we'll see what actually happens in the near future.
No interesting fan stuff has been.
Mostly it's friends and family. That's what my fans, those have always been my biggest fans, so it's a lot of praise and a lot of happiness and celebration anytime the song comes on.
Okay, so I was actually working as a host, and I was checking in this band at this venue that I used to work at, and got them all set up, and then later their guitar player came up to me and he was like, "Are you Victoria?" And I was like, "Yes, how do you know that?" And he's like, "Because I follow your music on SoundCloud and I follow you on Facebook, and I've like always wanted to meet you, but I was like, oh, that's so funny that I'm running into you and I'm working now, and then we've actually worked together at other venues, so that's really cool to meet him."
Pretty big coincidence, huh?
Yeah.
It's hard to say any video should be one way, but
Not a music video, a music venue.
venue.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Those are some very interesting answers. Here is your free cassette tape.
Thank you.
There you go. Enjoy.
Thank you, my friend.
There you go. Your cassette tape. There you go. Nick Cicada's greatest hits on cassette.
You gotta look at us, we can't hear you.
So, what did I tell you, music fans? It was a seriously hot lineup this month, and I am electrically charged right now after listening to Electric Animals and their epic set of certified rock and roll. Check them out. Links, as always, to all these fantastic Denver bands and whatnot are in the description, so go down and check it out. Well, next month, that's asking interesting questions for you. Now.
Asking interesting questions. Asking interesting questions. Asking interesting questions. Asking interesting questions.